Let's go over our PDN, shall we? Today we did a lot of simplifying fractions using greatest common factors, which we learned last week. Here we have the fraction 14 over 21. So I'm going to first start with 14, and I'm going to write all the factor pairs of 14. Well, 1 times 14 equals 14. And I see because 4 is in the ones place, I know that 2 can go into 14. So I'm going to roll my 2's until I land on 14. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. That's 7 times. So that means 2 times 7 equals 14. And so those are my factor pairs for 14. I'm going to do the same thing for 21. 1 times 21 equals 21. And then also 2 plus 1 equals 3. So that means it's divisible by 3. So I'm going to roll my 3's until I get to 21. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Like it's 21. That's 7. 3 times 7 equals 21. And those are my factor pairs for 21. I'm going to start at 14 and see if I find the largest number that's on both my 14 side and my 21 side. 14's not over here, but 7's on both sides. So now I can use divided by 7 and divided by 7 to reduce my fraction. 7 goes into 14 2 times. 7 goes into 21 3 times. And my new fraction, 14 21st, reduces to 2/3. Looking at 15 and 55, I first know that 1 times 15 equals 15. And since there is a 5 in the ones place, I know I can divide that number by 5 or roll my 5's until I get to 15. 5, 10, 15. So that means 3 times 5 also equals 15. For 55, I first know that 1 times 55 equals 55. And since there's a 5 in the ones place, I can roll my 5's until I get to 55. That would be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 5, 10, 11. So 5 times 11 equals 55. And now I'm ready to find the greatest common factor. Well, there's no 15 on both sides, so I can cross that out. But there is a 5 as a factor for both 15 and 55. So I can reduce my fraction by 5 over 5. 5 goes into 15 3 times. 5 goes into 55 11 times. And my new fraction is 3/11. 15 55ths reduces to 3/11. For 4, I'm going to find, for number 3, I'm going to do 4/12. I first know that 1 times 4 equals 4. I also know that 4 can be divided by 2 because there's an even number, 2, 4, 6, or 8, or 0. So roll my 2's until I get to 4, 2 times. 2 times 2 equals 4. For 12, I know 1 times 12 equals 12. It also can be divided by 2. Roll my 2's until I get to 12. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. That's 6. 2 times 6 equals 12. Also, 1 plus 2 equals 3, which means I can roll my 3's. 3, 6, 9, 12. 3 times 4 equals 12. I'm going to work with 4's since there is less factors. That will mean I can find my greatest common factor quickly. I'm going to start with 4 since that's my largest number. There is a 4 as a factor of 4. 4 is also a factor of 12. So I'm going to stop right there. And I'm going to go 4 over 4. 4 goes into 4 1 time. 4 goes into 12 3 times. And 4/12 reduces to 1/3. Today, instead of converting mixed numbers into improper fractions, we're going to do the opposite and convert improper fractions into mixed numbers. First, we're going to look at the denominator in the improper fraction, and then we're going to create equivalent fractions to one whole. We're going to repeat the one whole until there's only a proper fraction left, and then we're going to add the proper fraction that's left over. Today, when we're looking at our number, the first example is a improper fraction. If we were to look at one whole of one of our shapes, it's divided into 4 equal parts, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I know my denominator for my improper fraction would be 4. Now when I'm finding an improper fraction, I'm just going to count up all the shaded parts in every shape together to get my numerator. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The improper fraction is 9/4. Now I want to convert that improper fraction into a mixed number. One quick way to do this is to look at the whole numbers. I have 1, 2, right? So I have 4/4 here and 4/4 here. These are 2 wholes. So now I have my whole number. I see that my denominator is in fourths. So now I'm just going to look at the proper fraction that's left over. That's 1/4. 1 piece is shaded out of the 4 pieces, so 1/4. And that becomes my mixed number. 2 wholes and 1/4. Looking at this fraction here, 23/4, I can do the same thing. I'm going to first write my fraction denominator in to match my denominator of my improper fraction, 4. Then I see that I have 4/4, 4/4, 4/4, 4/4, and 4/4. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 fractions or shapes that are equivalent to 1 whole, so I'm going to put 5 right here for the whole number. And then I have 1, 2, 3 parts shaded out of 4, 3/4. That becomes my fraction. Shoot your shot in your independent practice. We'll go over them as a team.